Right, so Big Ed is back and he's now apparently engaged to Liz. What the actual hell is going on? So as many of you will remember, the last time we saw Big Ed and Liz was in the season finale tell-all episode of 90 Day The Single Life. We had followed them from Big Ed asking her out on a date, them going on their first date, meeting the family, and even got to the point where Big Ed asked her to move in. By the tell-all episode, however, the pair had broken up. Basically, Liz rocked up and said that Big Ed had been pressuring her to advance the relationship and had been threatening to break up with her if she didn't. It all got too much for them, they had a big fight and Liz left. And at that point, their relationship was over. It kind of looked like they might have reconciled at the end of the tell-all, but apparently Big Ed ghosted her and they didn't speak for months after that. Over the last few days, however, some very unexpected news has come out. Liz was spotted a few days ago in a club in Santa Barbara, California with Big Ed, and more surprisingly, with an engagement ring on. Now, while that could mean that she just got engaged to someone else and was just hanging out with Big Ed again, apparently Big Ed was introducing her as his beautiful fiancée. Now, they haven't actually posted about each other publicly, like it's not on his Instagram or his TikTok or on her Instagram or anything like that, but apparently TMZ and Screen Rant both have sources who are like close to Big Ed and close to Liz, and apparently the sources have confirmed that this is actually true. Also, Liz's ex-husband, who we never actually met on the series but kind of knew existed, commented on Instagram seemingly confirming everything. He claims that apparently after Big Ed and Liz broke up, Liz ran straight back to him and they've been dating ever since. Apparently she spent the last 6 months begging him to propose, but he never did. They got into a big fight one Friday and she left him, and literally a week later he found out that she was engaged to Ed. So it's not even like she and Big Ed have been speaking over the last 6 months or dating and we just haven't known about it. This has literally just come out of nowhere. He also kind of hinted at their possible motivations by ending the comment with, "It's all for the fame, they're both equally desperate." What makes all of this even weirder is that there hasn't just been radio silence over the last 6 months. There's been a lot of stuff on social media to suggest that they actually hate each other. I mean, on top of all of the controlling, lying, manipulative, abusive, jealous, possessive, and narcissistic behaviour we heard about in the tell-all episode and saw across the season, and saw in the season with Rose, he then ghosted her, and then this leaked phone call came out. Now, I'm sure some of you will know what I'm talking about because I actually tweeted out and put an Instagram story up of the phone call. But for those of you who haven't heard it, basically it's a leaked phone call between Big Ed and Liz, and he's literally verbally berating, arguably even abusing her the entire time. I'll play a little snippet for you now just to get an idea of what the phone call was like if you haven't heard it before, or just to jog your memory if you have, but it's 4 minutes long, so if you want to listen to the full thing, I'll leave a link in the description down below.
I'll always love you, but I can't be with you.
Are you done? Because I've been sitting around the corner from your house from the second I clocked out.
I don't give a fuck, Liz. You're fucked up.
How am I fucked up? Are you going to listen to me, or are you going to take over this whole...
Fuck you, dude. You're fucked up.
Stop speaking to me like this, Ed. Stop!
For you to even offer to give a coworker a ride home to El Cajon, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Stop! Stop belittling me! I don't deserve this. Stop! Stop!
You are fucked up in the head.
I called you and asked you, and you said...
I don't give a fuck.
Then why did you say yes?
Fuck you.
Why did you say okay?
Fuck you. Fuck you. You are fucked up in the head.
How disgusting is that? Like, that is undeniably abusive. I remember saying in the tell-all episode that it sounded like Big Ed was actually worse off camera than he was on, and this just seems to confirm that. And if that wasn't bad enough by itself, it got even worse. I actually mentioned this and referenced it a couple of times during the season, but Ed has also been accused of SA. If you want to find out more about the accusation itself and all the details, just go across to her TikTok at Lord Aki. And on top of that, there are also loads of articles you can find online with other allegations against him. Now, what makes this whole situation with Liz even weirder is that she actually had cancel Big Pred on her Instagram page. Like, she's been actively sharing petitions for months trying to get Big Ed banned from TV because of all these allegations and because of how predatory he was against Rose and her. So after all that, it wasn't even as if she seemed to be over him, like, it seemed like she actively hated him. And she obviously seemed to have pretty strong reasons for feeling that way. So it just doesn't make any sense how she can go from that to being engaged to him after literally a week of speaking to him. There are only a couple of theories I can think of as to why she would want to marry him so suddenly, and literally none of them are justifiable. The first one, in relation to her ex-husband's comments, is that she's just desperate to get married. She's already been married and divorced twice at age 29, so why she'd rush into it again, I have no idea. But maybe she just hasn't learnt from her mistakes. The second theory is money. Liz actually posted a photo to Instagram recently of a brand new Toyota pickup truck, and a lot of people suspect that it was actually Big Ed that bought it for her. Now, obviously Ed didn't start off being particularly wealthy, like, he had a decent job being a photographer, but he was never worth a lot of money. But now, after 90 Day Fiancé and all of his merch and all of the cameos he does, he's apparently worth between $500,000 and several $1 million. Given she's got a daughter and works crazy hours herself, maybe she just wants to marry him for financial security. And to be fair, we did kind of suspect that for the whole season. Another quite materialistic theory is that she's doing it for the fame. Reality TV fame comes and goes so quickly. Like, how many other 90 Day Fiancé stars can you think of now that you actually really care about? Probably not many. While she obviously gained quite a decent social media following after the series, I think people just started to lose interest in her story. It would not surprise me one bit if a big motivation for this whole thing was so that they could get back in the spotlight, and evidently it's already working. I mean, who even knows if the engagement ring is actually real? The whole thing could just be set up for the story. And the final theory is potentially an even bigger story in itself. Literally just today, Liz put up an Instagram story saying, "Blanket for baby brother, our family is growing." Some people have obviously taken that to mean that she's pregnant with a baby boy. What if Ed got Liz pregnant and them finding out is why they decided to get engaged? If that is true, I feel so sorry for that kid. What a messed up environment to be born into. What's even more worrying is that there have been rumours coming out over the last few months that Liz actually lost custody of Riley because she has a drinking problem. I'm sure a couple of you might slightly remember this, but in part 2 of the tell-all, Big Ed says, "Can you remind me why we broke up?" And Liz says the drinking. I'm guessing, given she uploaded a photo of her with Riley, that that's probably not true, but it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. The thing that makes me think that this isn't true, however, is the fact that she used dog paw emojis in the text in the Instagram story. This obviously could just be a weird emoji choice, but maybe she's saying the younger brother is actually just a puppy, and obviously the puppy is part of the family that's growing. Either way, she knows what she's doing there, doesn't she? She knows that post is gonna stir a story. And that is part of the reason why I think she's doing it all for fame. Honestly, this whole story is an absolute mess. It's not clear what the hell is going on, and Big Ed and Liz aren't saying anything about it. I'm assuming that they're not saying anything about it all because they're not allowed to. Ed has confirmed in an Instagram comment that they're already filming season 2 of 90 Day The Single Life. So obviously they can't really speak about anything, otherwise it would be spoilers for the season. If this entire engagement with Liz wasn't just set up for the show, it should at least give us an insight as to how all of this played out. As always, I will of course do a mini saga on the entire series as soon as it comes out. So if you want to catch that as soon as it comes out, make sure you're subscribed down below so you don't miss it. Until then, I'll be covering plenty of other 90 Day Fiancé couples, so feel free to stop by my Instagram, Twitter and other social media to help me decide which ones to look at, to keep up with the channel, or just say hi in between uploads. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please feel free to leave a like down below, and of course leave a comment to let me know what you think of it all. I'd also just like to give a very quick shout out to my Patreon supporters for supporting me and the channel over on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next Big Ed mini series, if not before. Bye for now.